So, uh, chapter 1 is, which is the divine, the principle of creation, consists of 6 sections. So section 1, I'll be the one to handle this, and section 2 and 3, my colleagues. No? So this section will be having this just 3 sections. Okay? Aju, hello.
Hello.
Narinig ba? Narinig ako?
Yes, kuya.
Okay. Participants, okay ba? Narinig ako?
Yes po.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, kuya.
Okay.
Yes,
So let's start. So chapter 1, the principle of creations. So questions of life and the universe. So can you join with me in reading? Okay? Hello?
Yes.
Brothers and sisters,
Okay.
please be
join me in reading.
cooperative. Thank you.
I want this to be just like interactive also, so we can both learn from each other. Okay, so start. Throughout history, people have anguished
Over the
fundamental questions of human life
and the universe without arriving at satisfying answers.
answers. Okay, do you have questions of also like in yourself? How about? Kasi for me, I have so questions like this. When I was, before I met an accident, so I was given a second life. Then it resonates in me, you know, that was given a second life. So I have this nature na I want to return favor to those who help me in my trying times. So I want to know more about that. What is my question, you know? What is really my purpose in life? Okay. So this is because no one has understood the root principle by which humanity and the universe were originally created. So if we have clear understanding of root principle by which humanity and the universe were originally created, then there's no questions, no more question about the purpose of our life. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ay, wala akong yes, okay, thank
Yes
you.
po.
So to approach this topic properly, it is not enough to explain resultant reality. So the fundamental question is that of the causal reality. So my question before, who is that, no? Because problems concerning human life and the universe cannot be solved without first understanding the nature of God. So because we believe that God is the creator, no? Creator of us, human life and the universe, questions about this we cannot really solve, no? Without understanding the nature of God, the creator. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, di ba? Yes, okay. So, section 1, the dual characteristics of God and the creative universe. So the first question is, how can we know the divine nature of the invisible God? So paano? Kasi invisible siya rin. So one way to fathom this deity is by observing the universe which He created. And we can see this in Romans chapter 1, verse 20. Ano nakalagay doon? Ano nakalstate doon? So, sabi doon, creation of the world, namely his indivisible nature, power and deity, has been clearly perceived in the things that have been made. So they are without excuse. Okay, so everything in the created universe is a substantial manifestation of some quality of the Creator's invisible divine nature. So just as we can come to know the character of an artist through his works, so we can understand the nature of God by observing the diverse things of creation. So, itong picture, kita nyo, di ba? So, just like the character of an artist, nakikita ba natin to? Hindi. Nakikita natin participants? Hindi. Hindi, di ba? So, but we can know his character through his work arts, no? The manifest. In like manner, we can know the nature of God, which is also invisible, through the diverse thing of his creation, the substantial manifestation. Yes or no? Okay? Yes, no? So now let us begin by pointing out the common elements which are found universally throughout the natural world. So every entity possesses dual characteristics of yang and yin. Yang, or in other words, positivity and negativity, or yin, or masculinity and femininity, and comes into existence only when these characteristics have formed reciprocal relationships, both within the entity and between it and other entities. So dito, every entity possesses dual characteristics, no? Of yang and yin, or positivity and negativity, or masculinity or femininity. So it can only comes into existence through forming reciprocal relationships both within the entity and between it and other entities. So to elaborate further, means a positive or a negative balance. Also plants propagate by means of stamen and stamen. Ito yung the male fertilizing organ of a flower, and pistil, the female reproductive part of a flower. And for also animals, multiply and maintain their species through the relationship between males and females. And finally, human beings are either man or woman. So we can see, from smallest to the highest, to reach to us, to human beings, we can see these dual characteristics of yang and yin. Yes or no?
Yes.
Nag-gets ba? Yes, di ba? Okay. So, we found out one pair of dual characteristics. Ano yun kanina? Dual characteristics of yang and yin. So, however, there is another, more fundamental pair of dual characteristics in reciprocal relationship. Every entity possesses both an outer form and inner quality. Okay? So, to elaborate further, the visible outer form resembles the invisible inner quality. And the inner quality is called internal nature. And the outer form or shape is called external form. So since internal nature and external form refer to corresponding inner and outer aspects of the same entity, the external form may also be understood as a second internal nature. Therefore, the internal nature and external form together constitute dual characteristics. So aside doon sa ano kanina, sa nauna, no? Dual characteristics of yang and yin, we have this another pair of dual characteristics, which is more fundamental, no? The dual characteristics of inner quality and the outer form. And the inner quality is called the internal nature, and the outer form is called external form. And they constitute, no, dual characteristics. Okay? So, let's take human beings as an example. So, a human being is composed of an outcome. Yung body natin. And mind, nature. And the body is the external form. So, mind and body are two correlative as human beings. Second, constitute dual characteristics of a human being. So, in this, every entity possesses this dual characteristics, no, internal nature or an external form, no. Then, yung external form we can call also as a second internal nature. It is because it resembles the internal nature. Okay? Then similarly, all beings exist through the reciprocal relationship between the dual characteristics of internal nature and form. Okay? So, we've learned, no, yung two pairs of dual characteristics based on sa natural, no, word, no, na inanoy, no? Dual characteristics of yang and yin, and the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form. So, God's dual characteristic, the first cause must also possess the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form, which stand in the position of subject partner to the internal natures and external form of all beings. So we call this first cause of the universe God, and we call God's internal nature, external form, original internal nature, and original external form. So since God is the first cause, no, the creator, so we can call God's internal nature as original internal nature, and God's external form an original external form. So they constitute, no, dual characteristics. And it is only natural to surmise that God, the first cause of all things, also exists based on reciprocal relationship between his dual characteristics of yang and yin. So, dahil first cause si God, no? So, he has also this dual characteristics, no, of yang and yin. And since he is the first cause, we can call God's original, God's yang as and God's yin as original yin. Okay? Mabilis ba yung ano ko? Okay lang. Hello? Okay, tama lang. Ay, wala sumasagot na. Hello? Andyan pa kayo?
Okay,
Yes
pagbubo
po.
tayo, brothers
Hello.
and sisters.
Narinig nyo? Okay lang ba?
Yes po.
Okay, thank you. So, the next question is, what is then the relationship between the dual characteristics of internal nature and external form and the dual characteristics of yang and yin? So the answer here is God's original internal nature and original external form, it's contained the mutual relationship of original yang and original yin. Therefore, original yang and original yin are attributes of original internal nature and original external form. So we can see here that God's original nature and original external form, no, it's contained an original yang and original yin. Okay, sa nakikita natin sa picture, no? So these are attributes of the original internal nature and original external form. So we can summarize then that God is the subject of the dual characteristics of original internal nature and original external form are in harmony. It comes into existence through mutual and harmonious relationship, right? So that's why we can say that God is eternal, self-existing, because of this dual characteristics is formed in a mutual, okay, reciprocal, okay, and harmonious relationship. Again, number two, at the same time, God is the harmonious of unity and unity, which manifests qualities of internal nature and original external form. Of course, God is the harmonious union of masculinity and femininity. It's if there is this harmony, this harmonious, this masculinity and femininity are attributes of the original internal nature and original external form. So if there is this harmony in these two, it will manifest doon sa original internal nature and original external form. So at the same time, it forms into a mutual, reciprocal, and harmonious relationship. Okay? So in relation to the universe, God is the subject having abilities of internal nature and masculinity. So in relation to the universe, God is the subject partner. So subject partner si God ang universe. May makasagot ba? Hello? Wala. Object partner, di ba? Dahil subject partner so universe. Having the qualities of eternal nature. Si God, eternal nature, and universe. Okay? And masculinity. So, elaborate this recognition of God's position as eternal and masculine subject partner. We call him our Father. Okay? Sa universe, as object partner, nung tawag natin sa kanya. So, we have a saying also, Mother Earth, right? Okay? The object partner to God. So, in accordance with the principle of creation, that characteristic manifested symbolically or in image as individual embodiments of truth. God is the visible sub-partner, and the universe is a substantial object partner to God. And in accordance with the principle of creation, God's dual characteristic manifests itself symbolically in all things, or in image, in human beings, as individual embodiments of truth, which constitute the universe. It is supported also by a Bible verse. So yung Bible verse na Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. Anong sabi doon? God tignan His own image and likeness. Yes or no? Diba? So ano pa? So, sabi ni Jesus Christ, if you see me, you see the Father. Okay? And the other verse also, do you not know that your body is God's temple and God's Spirit dwells in you? Yes? So we are in a substantial image of God. Okay? So, since individual embodiments of truth are all substantial object partners to God, resembling His original internal nature and original external form, He is possessed within themselves both internal nature and external form, and likewise, both yang and yin. So, dito sa picture na to, no, itong picture ng dual God, no, we have this original internal nature, original form. So in human beings, ano yung ano natin, internal nature, kasi we resemble God. We are the image of God. So ano yung ano niya? Internal nature. Mind, di ba? Yes or no? Hello? Aju, yes. Okay. Ano yung external form natin? Body. Oh, yes. O dito naman sa picture, no? Original din. So, tingnan naman yung positive aspect o yang sa atin. Example. So sa mind natin, ano yun? Brightness, no? Gladness, masculinity. That is positive aspects. Diba? Ano naman yung negative side? Negative side, yung melancholy, no? Sorrowful, sadness, okay? Femininity or womanliness. Okay? So, mayroon din tayo niyan, di ba? How about sa external form? Ano naman yung nakikita natin? Example, positive yang sa body natin. Saka, ano, yung negative, yung yin. Ano ang example natin yan? Meron makasagot? Sige nga, sagutin nyo. Ha? Kasi yung positive, di ba? Inhale, exhale. Hindi, yung strong positive aspects. So,
Concave
sa body.
body. Right hand, saka left hand.
Oh, right hand. Correct, di ba? Right hand, di ba? Positive, strong. Di ba tayo nagtaka dyan? But yung isa medyo mahina, yung isa malakas. So, it represents, no? Yung positive yang, positive, yung yin. Yang and yin, no? Positive, negative. So, we are guys form in yung dual characteristics niya, form in mutual, reciprocal, and harmonious relationships. So, unite yung mind and body natin. Mutual reciprocal relationships. And what root of very root nature of God, no? Yung personality of God is true love, di ba? So we have to resemble God by embodying His true love. So sa atin nga, yung definition natin sa true love is,
True love.
So a life of living for the sake of others. So yun ang pinaka-ultimate natin, di ba? We are created, no? To know His nature and characteristics, and the very personality of God is true love. So we need to embody God's true love. Yes or no? Yes? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. His image, no? So we need to embody His true love, no? To resemble Him, and to practice that in a life of living for the sake of others. Jude? Yes or no?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Jude, okay. Okay, that's all I can share. Let's wait for the other section to be given by my colleague. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuya Julius.
Ano
Give
ba?
a hand. Kuya Julius, everybody. Talaga pong actually challenge
Thank you.
tayo on how are we going to connect to one another, especially this time. Medyo may problema tayo talaga sa internet connection. But anyways, we will do our best to be able to share to you what God wants to share to you. The heart of God, importantly. So anyways, we will do sum up later after the 3 sections will be discussed, so that you can be able to grasp kung ano yung main content talaga ng ng section 1 to 3 of chapter 1. So let's proceed now to our second lecture of the day, of the night. Let us give a hand to no other than he's an IPLC graduate. He has received recently, just last February 2020, his blessing. So let's give a round of applause to no other than Kuya Herwin Kalinawan.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening sa host natin. Kaya ng kaya. So,
Ayan natin yan.
so good evening. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Herwin. I'm from Bohol, actually. So, I graduated in IPLC as 2016. And now, I'm currently doing my mission here in headquarters. Yes. So, this time, this is the continuation of the principle of creation, chapter 1, and I will be discussing the section 2, universal prime energy, about the give and take action and the purpose. So, this is one of my every section is really uh, amazing to study, and this one really strikes me. Before I was not able to understand this well, especially this universal prime energy, and I'm going to explain to you in plainly in a simple way, so that yeah you can also understand. Same as I am. So are you ready? Or already?
Yes!
Yes. Okay.
Let's answer po our lecturers para hindi po malungkot tong atmosphere natin ngayong gabi.
Let's do this, Kuya Herwin.
Yes po.
Okay. So even Moses also, I'm asking for how can I explain God to the people that I met when I do witnessing? How can I explain to them that there's God, that God exists? And in the Bible, Moses, the story of Moses also he has this question to God that the story of Moses that Moses fled from Egypt, went to land of Midian, and then there he met God, and then God talked to him that God instructed him that please save my people from bring my people out from Egypt so that they will be saved because the Israelites are yung alipin sila doon. So para i-save sila, uh, tinugo ni Moses, sinunod ni God si Moses na ilabas sila sa Egypt. But then, pumayag si Moses, but Moses have this question na, how can I explain to them that ikaw ikaw po yung nagsugo sa akin na ilabas sila sa Egypt. So how can I explain to them? And then tinanong niya si God. And then God answered that we can find in the Bible, we can find the Bible, Exodus chapter 3, verse 14. I think you've read Bible also. Says there that I am that I am. So thus shall you say, you shall say to them, the children of Israel, that I am has sent to you. So from this verse, by this we can know that God exists on his own power. God exists on himself. And when we observe the creation, all things needs energy in order to exist. And how about God? Does God need energy? What do you think? What do you think so? In order for God to exist, does he need an energy? Anybody can answer yes or no? Nobody. Okay.
Wala po ba
God.
kayong brothers and sisters?
Okay. God doesn't need energy because God himself is energy. And within God's being, there is a prime energy. There is in the unification principle, we call this universal prime energy. This is the fundamental energy that comes from God and passed through to the different creations of the universe. So what is this? What is the if God is the creator, absolute reality, eternal self-existence, the same also with the universal prime energy. The universal prime energy is also eternal self-existence and absolute. This is the origin, the cause of all energies, and this is why God exists eternally and why God exists on himself. It's because of this universal prime energy. And also this energy allows the created beings to exist as well. So here we can observe that from this section about the universal prime energy, God already invested his power His love towards us through His energy, right? So we can already feel that there is God. This is only explanation scientifically based on science because we are talking about energy. This is the other side of God. But there is another side of God as well. That God also is God of heart. But here we are talking about that God is God of energy. He has this universal prime energy. Do you understand? Yes. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay. So this universal prime energy can be found in different created entity in the universe. From the smallest stone and from the biggest things that we can see in our environment, energy is there. God is there. God is everywhere. So, but in the previous section, talks about dual characteristic, right? And but how this God's dual characteristics and then the dual characteristics also of the universe. But how this dual characteristics exist? So that is why is it working? So now we will talk about how the give and take action really has an important role in the existence of the universe, the existence of God, and the existence of all creation. Here, through the agency of the universal prime energy and energy from God, what is divided or manifested both in subject elements and object elements of every entity that created universe. And when they form a common base and enter into interaction, this forces like the center, the forces of interaction between the object element and subject element is this is what we call the give and take action. And this forces generates all the things exist, multiply, and act. So this is if there is no give and take action, nothing will exist. Even from God. When we look at God Himself, God Himself has these dual characteristics. It's the internal nature, original internal nature, and original external form. So within God, and at the center of it, there is universal prime energy. And it is the reason why God became self-existence. Because the original internal nature of God and the original external form of Him are having this reciprocal relationship with each other. So God exists, and then also then it passed through the different creation, the energy of God, and also this is the reason why there's a multiplication and act and everything exists. So it's really important, right? The give and take action have this kind of role in within the two object partner. This give and take action cannot only be seen here, but we can observe in a different in our environment. Like for example, yung basic example, carbon dioxide and oxygen na kailangan ng tao ang plants. Ay, kailangan ng kailangan ng tao ang plants and plants kailangan ng tao. The human beings gives carbon dioxide to plants and plants give oxygen to human beings. So they're having a give and take action. If one of them, if plants will not give oxygen to the human beings, to the environment, then human beings will not exist. So this is the give and take action process. And another example, like inhale and exhale, yun. Sinabi kanina, Hindi ko alam kung sino yung nagsabi. But inhale, exhale. If you only inhale, inhale. So, for sure, mamamatay ka talaga. You have also to inhale and exhale. That is the process of give and take action. Many in the relationship of the family, the relationship of husband and wife, they should give and take action. You should have this reciprocal relationship of give and take action with each other in order to create an ideal family. And you and God, you should have this give and take action with you and God in order for you to become an ideal person. Everywhere, anything that happens surrounds us in the surrounding, it's because of this give and take action. Do they understand?
I do.
Assume. So again, I hope that we can understand. But how can we explain this give and take action in our family? But let's proceed first to the next slide, the 4-position foundation, which realizes the 3-object purpose through origin, division. Let's start with origin, division, action. So this is how this is the process. God, the center. God is the origin, and God divided himself into two, subject partner and the object partner, and this process is the division. And when these two unite and form a new object partner called the union, this process is origin, division, union. So again, when the energy from God divided himself into two, partner and unite, this process is origin, division, union action. Just as simple as that. But this is very important because here, what is the purpose of these 3 objects? So here, the 3-object purpose. It says here, any of the 4 positions resulting from origin, division, union action, namely the origin, subject partner, object partner, and their union, may assume the position of subject partner and engage the other 3 as its object partners, forming a communion of 3 object partners. When each of the 4 then acts as subject partners and enters into give and take with each other 3, they fulfill the 3-object purpose. So this is very important. This is the very foundation of the 4-position foundation. If you understand this one, the 3-object purpose. So sa apat na yun, God, subject partner, and union, object partner and union, kahit sino sa kanila pwedeng magiging subject, and the other 3 object. So ang mangyayari, apat na subject na nakita natin sa diagram. Different subjects. God first, yung una dito is God is the subject. The second one is the subject partner becomes the subject, and the object partner becomes the subject partner, the subject, and the union becomes the subject. But how can we connect this in our daily life para magkaroon ng purpose to? Only if magkaroon ng purpose yung 3-object partners, only if they enter into give and take action. Pag mag-give and take action yan silang apat, and that is their purpose. And the 4-position foundation will be established. So how can I explain this in the family? For example, para magiging subject, yung kahit sino sa kanila magiging subject. For example, yung grandfather mo represent as God. Then yung grandfather represent as God. Yung apo represent as union. So, pag ang apo, pagsabihin ng apo na sa lolo niya, so, ano mo ako sa likod mo, tawag nito, put in his back ba, parang ganun. So, siyempre, ang lolo, papayag talaga yan. So, ang nangyayari doon is nagiging subject yung apo. Kahit na mas bata yung apo kaysa lolo. So, in terms of love, in the three object purpose, age doesn't matter. Right? So, even kahit anak ka lang, you can become a subject. You can become a subject. Another example, if yung parents, di alam yung yung computer. Yung mga anak, alam na alam yan. Siyempre, millennials. So, anong gagawin ng parents? Mag-ask ng tulong sa anak nila, right? Kasi di nila alam eh. So, ang mangyayari is, ang anak magiging subject kasi tuturuan niya yung parents niya kung paano gawin. And then, yung parents, magpapalo sa anak. Okay? Do you understand? Aju. And, yeah. Another example, kung yung subject partner, like for example, yung papa mo, usually, father in the family is always the subject. Usually. Yeah, kung saan pupunta yung papa, kung sabihin ng papa, oy, kala tayo, masya tayo. Sunod yung asawa, sunod yung anak. Sunod din si God. Tapos, pag ang wife naman, yung magiging subject, example, magpamassage yung wife sa husband. So, ang mangyayari, nagiging subject yung wife, tapos sumusunod lang yung husband. So, can you see? It's because of love. There's love at the center of these three objects, this purpose foundation. So, in terms of love, there's no age. There's no, yun nga, kung matanda ka or bata, but you can become a subject in the name of love. Do you understand? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so as what I have said, the three object purpose is very important. This is the foundation to create this purpose and foundation. In special term, this is what we call purpose and foundation. The God is the origin, subject partner, object partner, the division, and the union. So when the origin and subject partner and object partner projected from the origin and the union, all fulfill the three object purpose. The purpose and foundation is stuff. This purpose and foundation is the very foundation, the fundamental blueprint of God, that this is also should be our blueprint in our life. So here, the foundation, this purpose and foundation is the foundation, is the root of the principle of three stages. So because it involves three stages of God, husband and wife, and children. So three stages. This is the root of the number 12 because each of the four takes on three object partners, 12 object partners are created. And the fundamental foundation of goodness and realization of God's purpose of creation. So here, number 3 is this is the fundamental foundation of goodness, because we should not always forget that we are explaining here, although based on like energy or the positions, but don't always remember that God is a God of love. And God is the foundation of love, and it means He is the foundation of goodness. And if this goodness passed through in the subject partner union, then we can realize God's purpose of creation. And number 4, this is the fundamental foundation of the life of all beings, providing all the forces necessary for their existence. So as well, yeah, this is the foundation of life. So because without this, nobody will exist. Without without God's manifesting in every creation, then we will not exist. And the purpose and foundation is God's eternal purpose of creation. This is the eternal purpose of creation. This is the blueprint of God, how He created everything there in the universe. Aju,
You.
Aju. So let me conclude this. The section 1, in section 2, the universal prime energy, God really loves us because from the very beginning, He invested His energy in order for us to receive and experience it in our life. And I hope that we can feel it. And from the give and take action, Father, a true father said that this give and take action is what we call living for the sake of others. Nobody will exist alone. In science, no man in an island. We should live for one another. Sabi ni Karl Marx, conflict sa dialectic materialism. Sa theory niya ng dialectic materialism, sabi niya, conflict is needed in order to progress. But in the unification principle, it says there, we can prove here that the win-win relationship, the give and take action, the harmony of subject and object partner between each other is the very foundation of progress, of the development of everything. Not just conflict, not just what Karl Marx said, but it is the win-win relationship. Kung magbibigay, bawat isa, magbigayan. This goes through progress. And last, the Foundation Foundation. Let us always remember that God's blueprint, God's plan is better than our plan. So we have to follow this one, what God taught us. Aju, that would be all. Thank you very much.
Aju! Thank you so much, Kuya Herwin. Let's give a
Thank
round
you.
of applause to our Kuya Herwin Kalinawan, brothers and sisters. You know what, brothers and sisters? I was like thinking and reflecting, bakit ba natin kailangan intindihin ang section 1 and section 2? Lahat ng sections ng divine principle. But we're now particularly talking about section 1 to section 3. Later on, the section 3 will be discussed. Pero as blessing candidates, as matching candidates, can you think why do we need to study these things? Na-question nyo ba yun sa sarili nyo? Bakit sa tingin nyo kailangan natin siyang intindihin? And yes, I'm talking to nobody, right? I'm talking to nobody. It's a lonely journey kapag kausap ko yung sarili ko. Brothers and sisters, nasaan po kayo? So
We are
actually,
here.
section 1 and section 2 talks about God, His existence, His nature. Without understanding the nature of God, we will never understand the significance and value of the blessing, because our very main reason kung bakit tayo nandito is because of God. Kung sa sarili natin, we have that confusion about the existence of God, we will never value the blessing in the future. Ganun na yun. So, importante, alam ko, maybe there are lots of questions in your mind, like, hindi pa siya ganun clearly nasasagutan. Like, ano ba talaga si God? Kasi before, ganun din ako, ano ba si God? Ano ba siya? Paano ko ba ma-explain talaga na nag-i-exist si God? Kasi kapag minsan, natanong ko ng mga classmate ko, do you believe in God? How am I going to defend it? I believe in God with my whole heart and whole being, pero hindi ko ma-defend na God is really existent because I am not knowledgeable enough to really defend and to really testify and proclaim that God is an existing God. So that's why it's important na these sections, specifically the section 1 and section 2, kailangan talaga natin siyang pag-aralan ng mabuti. At hindi lang pag-aralan, kailangan natin siyang isapuso. at isagawa. Yay. So, to further explain, kasi sinong may alam kung ano yung lahat naman tayo dito naka-undergo na ng divine principle. So, sino dito ang may alam kung ano ang topic na section 3? Do you know, guys? Brothers and sisters? Alam niyo ba yung title ng section 3?
The purpose of creation.
Hello?
Purpose of creation daw.
Hala.
The purpose of
Ano lang,
creation.
pag mag-final examination tayo. Oh my God.
Enumeration.
Pagkatapos ng ano na to, meron tayong isagot, brothers and sisters. Para naman hindi sayang yung time na inilaan natin to be together. Let's not waste our time and our efforts. Let's really make the most out of this event talaga. This opportunity so that we could really learn. Our next topic will be section 3, the purpose of creation. It's important to understand our purpose as creation. Di po ba, brothers and sisters? So so walay paglangan, let's us all welcome our next lecturer for tonight, Ate Relina Dolendo. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yung ginawa ko. Sorry.
Relina, okay ka lang po?
Nahanap ko yung ano. Nahanap ko yung presentation ko. Biglang nawala.
O, Ate Relina,
Tinabahan yung tinabahan yung presentation ko.
Napunta dito.
Wait. Nasaan ko? Napunta ko
Please
dyan
blood.
yung presentation ko. Ano nangyari sa kanya? Tapos okay na?
Yeah, you can share.
please proceed,
Okay
Ate
ka?
Relina. You can share your,
Okay.
share your screen.
Wait. Muna na naman. Yan na, okay na? Okay na po?
Yes, te.
Yes, Ate. Yung section 3 na lang po.
Okay na?
Yes, te. Come on.
Yan ba? Okay, good evening. My full name is Relina Prestigio Peralta Dolendo. Just like you, my husband and I also applied for the matching between 1994 to 2001. Bakit kaya ganun katagal ako nag-matching, no? Parang, na-imagine nyo kung gaano ilang beses akong apply ng matching. So, my husband and I belong to the 360,000 couples blessing. Yun yung 95 blessing.
Ano oras na po?
Talagang inurasan ako agad.
Sorry po. Sorry.
So we have already shared to you section 1 and section 2, and it means we have already answered the question, who am I? And where do I came from? And also the question, does God really exist? That is, those questions were answered in the section 1 and section 2 of the principle of creation. So, meron bang makaka-answer kung who am I? Ngayon sa inyo among the participants of this 21 days Divine Principle Lecture? Confident na ba kayo na i-answer yung who am I? Meron ba? Wala yata akong naririnig. Wala rin akong kausap. Naririnig.
Yes.
So, may kausap pa ako. So, we will proceed with section 3. Sabi nga kanina, may nag-react sa atin. Hindi ko masyadong napansin ko sino siya. It said na ang section 3 is all about the purpose of creation. So, ano yung i-answer natin ngayon yung question na what is the purpose of life? So, yun yung isa sa mga question wherein every one of us is questioning, and that includes our true father. Na nag-umpis siyang i-question yon during his teen, nung bago niya ma-receive yung revelation, di ba? Nag-uumpisa na siyang nagpo-question kung who am I, where am I? And yung section 3 is all about the question about what is the purpose of my life. Na-ask nyo na ba yung question na yon? So, I think all of us have asked that question. The purpose of the creation of the universe. So, the principle says, it is recorded in the Bible, saan daw siya? Genesis chapter 4, verse 31. That after God completed each day of creation, He saw that it was good. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Every day of creation, di ba yung isn't it that God created the world, created the natural world in 6 days, and each day or each stage, alam naman natin na hindi yun literal na day, di ba? Kasi each stage of the creation, He saw that it was good. Ano ba yung nararamdaman natin pag sinasabi natin yung word na magandang tignan? Ano yung pakiramdam nun? Ano yung pakiramdam? Meron ba akong naririnig na sagot? Anong pakiramdam pag sinasabi natin magandang tignan? Anong pakiramdam nun? Anong nararamdaman natin?
Saya po.
Meron ba?
Happy.
Masaya. Sabihin?
Saya po.
Tapos ano pa, sir? Meron pong sinasabi yung si Sir, ano ba yun, Roger? Ano pa yung tapos, sir? Masaya at, ano, sir? Masaya at, okay. Masaya at masaya pa rin. O, di ba? Okay. Masaya siya, masaya. So, ibig sabihin, nung sinabi ni God that it was good, ibig sabihin, nakita niya na yung create niya ay nagbibigay ng kaligayahan sa kanya. So ano kayang ibig sabihin? Anong ibig sabihin nito sa atin? This suggests that God wanted His creations to be object partners embodying goodness that He might take delight on them. So gusto ni God, dahil sinasabi niya every stage of creation and of completion ng stage of the creation, sinasabi niya na magandang tignan. Sabi niya ganon. Gusto niya yung lahat ng create niya, all the entities that He created in the natural world, He wanted them to become His object partners. Ano ibig sabihin ng object partners? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng object in the first place? Object is the recipient, okay, is the recipient of goodness or the recipient of love. From section 1, yun yung mga naaral natin from section 1 and section 2. Pag sinabi natin object, recipient ng love. Samantalang siya yung yung taker, di ba? Sino naman yung giver? Ang tawag natin sa kanya, subject, di ba? Yun yung nag-give ng love, di ba? Siya yung nag-give ng goodness. So, yung object dito, sinasabi dito, lahat ng entities na create ni God, He wanted that them to become His object partners of goodness. Nang sa ganon, pag naramdaman ng object partners ni God, yung love ni God sa kanila, at naramdaman nila at nakita niya na naging masaya sila, nagiging masaya din si God. So ano bang ibig sabihin ng kasiyahan ni God? God created human beings as the final step in creating the universe. So ibig sabihin, alam natin lahat ang final, ang pinakahuli na creation ni God, yun yung pinaka ano niya, di ba? Pinaka favorite, ano ba tawag doon? Is that yung human beings, and they are alam natin lahat, sa mga naaral na natin sa divine principle before, that human beings were created to be the Lord of the creation. Sila yung finale, diba? Sila na yung finale. He created them in His image and likeness of His internal nature and external form. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang, si God, endowed all yung kanyang characteristic na internal nature and external form. Pag sinabi natin internal nature, ito yung sinasabi sa section 1 natin na sinasabi, pinaliwanag kanina ni Sir Julius nyo, na internal nature, ito yung fundamental characteristic ng creator at saka ng created beings or the natural world. Ito yon. Pero merong bonus sa final creation. Hindi lang yung internal nature o hindi lang yung external form yung binigay niya, in-endowed niya, but He also gave them, being the final the Lord of the creation, is that they gave them sensibility to all feelings and emotion. Yun yung difference niya sa difference ng human beings among all the creation or among all the animal kingdom. Kasi sinasabi natin dun sa science, especially sa psychology, sa sociology, di ba? Ang sinasabi dito, human beings are thinking animals. So, nakakapag-isip sila, nakaka-perceive sila. Ibig sabihin dito, sensible sila at sa feelings and emotion. Yun yung difference ng lahat ng human beings among all the created beings, among all the the animal kingdom. Kasi nga, in science, human beings belong to the animal kingdom or the kingdom of mammalia, parang from yung natatandaan ko dun sa aking biology in high school. Okay? After their creation, God blessed Adam and Eve to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion over the creation. Yun yung nating sabi, yung three great blessings natin, which can be seen sa Genesis chapter 1 verses had Adam and Eve obeyed these three blessings and build the kingdom of heaven, there is no doubt that God would have felt the greatest joy as His sons and daughters rejoice in the world of His ideal. So, ibig sabihin, if Adam and Eve obeyed the three blessings and have not disobeyed His commandment, at hindi sila His commandment and followed His word, yung word ni God, dapat nag-rejoice sila, nakita nila na naging masaya sila Adam and Eve, hence, the ultimate purpose of the universe with human beings as its center is to return joy to God. Ibig sabihin, paano ba i-return ni Adam and Eve as the center of the universe yung joy to God? Paano niya ba sabi natin, Adam and Eve are the recipient or the object partners of God. Sila yung recipient God. So, in order na magkaroon ng give and take action, di ba, from the section 2, they need to return, they need to return the joy or the love that was given by God to them, di ba? Ganun yun. Yun yung pinag-usapan natin sa section 2 dun sa kay Sir Herwin. Paano ba? All entities have dual purposes. May dalawa daw tayo lahat na purposes. Meron din tayong dual characteristic. Meron din tayong dual purposes. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng dual purposes? Every entity has dual centers of movement. Ano yung sinasabi ng movement? Pag sinabi natin movement, these are activities and these are actions. When we say action, it pertains to energy. Dito natin nilalagay lahat yung energy natin sa mga ginagawa natin, di ba? Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin na universal prime energy kanina, which is, kaya lang siya pinangalanan na prime energy, para natin prime energy. But then, when yung movement at dual centers of movement na sinasabi dito, one is internal and one is external. When we say one is internal nature, ano yung ibig sabihin ng internal nature? This is subject element o, di ba? Subject element. Siya yung nasusunod. Tandaan natin palagi, pag sinabi na internet, subject yan. Palawanag dapat sa atin as blessing candidates para hindi yung wala sa atin nang sa ganon, hindi, yung desires natin, di ba? Yung desires, remember yung desires, and meron tayong dalawang klaseng desires na in contradiction. The rich desire and the evil mind's desire. So, dapat yung, nagko-correspond yung original mind natin, saka yung tawag dito, nagko-correspond siya sa mind. Yung original mind desire natin is nagko-correspond sa desires of the mind, and yung desires of the body, yung evil desires natin correspond to the body. So palagi kasi yung mind kasi palagi siya yung subject. Bakit? Kasi subject siya in the sense na lahat ng desire ng mind is always, ang result lagi nun is goodness. Wherein yung desires of the body, ang result niya may not be goodness but wickedness. So, para palagi yung desires ng body ay masunod, ibig sabihin, ay maging goodness at hindi wickedness, kailangan naka-harmonize siya sa desires ng mind. So, which is, yung mind is yung internal, yun yung internal and the subject, di ba? So, palagi dapat natin nalalaman para alam natin, so, kung may ginawa tayo, meron tayong activity na ginawa, may isang purpose tayo na ginawa, malalaman natin kung anong end result kasi kung alam natin kung ano yung position na ginanap natin. Kung nandoon tayo sa nandoon tayo sa nasa external form tayo, so ibig sabihin, tanungin mo yung sarili mo, nag-harmonize ka ba sa internal nature mo? Yun yun, nag-harmonize ka ba sa mind mo? Eh kung hindi ka nag-harmonize, alam mo na kung anong kahinatnan mo. Pero pag tinanong mo, pero kapag ikaw ay nag-harmonize sa internal nature mo, alam mo din na goodness yung dulo nun, di ba? These centers pursue corresponding purposes. Yung dalawang centers of movement natin, dalawa din yung two purposes niya. One for the sake of the whole and one for the sake of individual, whose relationship is the same as between internal nature and the external form. Yun yung sinasabi natin dito. Yung whole purpose, yung center of movement natin ng lahat ng natin is yung whole purpose is internal, which is subject, di ba? And then, kaya nga sinasabi natin, dapat palagi tayo naka-anchor dun sa whole purpose. And then, another is whose relationship is the same as internal nature. Yung individual purpose is external form. Ito yung pinapaliwanag ko kanina na kailangan if yung individual purpose mo is naka-anchor sa whole purpose and then ang result niyan, goodness siya. But if not for the whole purpose, hindi siya, maaring hindi goodness ang kalalabasan niyan. In God's ideal, wherein hindi pa nagkasala si Adam and Eve, there cannot be any individual purpose which does not support the whole purpose. So, nor can there be any whole purpose that does not guarantee the interest of the individual. So, ganun din siya. The infinite variety of beings in the universe form one vast organic body interwoven by these dual purposes or dual centers of movement. Remember, joy is not produced by an individual alone. Even though, sabi nga dito, naalala ko yung isang lecturer dati na narinig ko ng divine principle, even though God is oozing with love and oozing with goodness, kung wala siyang paglalaanan ng love na yon, it doesn't matter, bali, wala yon. Diba? Kahit na ikaw, sabi nga kahit na ang ganda-ganda ng boses mo, pero wala namang makikinig dun sa boses mo na maganda, may silbi pa siya. Parang ganun yun di ba? Wala siyang silbi. So you need an object partner. So ano yung purpose ni God? Ay yung sinasabi natin dito, why did God created the natural world or the universe? Kasi gusto niya ng object partner. Hindi siya, kaya nga sinasabi na no man is an island, whether intangible or substantial. So ibig sabihin, intangible, hindi nakikita or nakikita, di ba sinasabi dito, in which our internal nature and external form are reflected and developed. Pag iniisip mo pa lang, yung sa plano mo pa lang masaya ka na dahil parang nabivisualize mo na Pero pag, di ba, pag nakita mo na, naging substantial na siya, kasi una, di ba, nagplano si God, di ba, ng creation. Pero nung talagang nakita niya, una pa lang day, nakita niya, wow, ang ganda pala ng creation kasi hindi na siya, may visible na siya, di ba? Dahil may liwanag na, di ba? So nung nakita niya, so sabi niya, di ba, sabi niya, it is good to behold. Yun yung sabi niya, di ba? Sabi nga kanina, masaya siya. Pero dun sa dulo sa 6 days, saan ba sa 6 days, anong sabi ni God? Naiiba yung sinabi ni God sa 6th day, di ba? Yung last creation, ang sabi ni God. Meron ba akong naririnig? Ano uli? Ano sabi ni God sa huli? Sa last day? Sa last stage ng creation, ano sabi ni God? Nabasa niyo ba yon? So, anong sabi ni God? Wala akong, mayroon po kausap. May kausap ako. So, ang sabi ni God, di ba, it's very good to behold. So, in the last stage of the creation wherein He created human beings, Adam and Eve, doon siya pinakamasaya. Kasi nakita niya yung representation ng lahat ng creation from the smallest to before human beings, na nakikita niya yung internal nature niya and external form niya na nagmamanifest kay Adam and Eve. Our object partner stimulates us and help us to feel our own internal nature and external form. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Anong example nito sa real life, di ba? Pag merong yung mga magulang natin, di ba? Kahit hindi naman tayo kagandahan o kagapuhan, di ba? Pero pag nakikita nila tayo at nakikita niyang kamukha nila tayo, anong nararamdaman nila? Nagiging masaya sila kasi nakikita nila yung nagiging visible yung sarili nila sa kanilang mga anak, di ba? Ganun yung mga kapag kumakanta ngayon, kapag namana nung anak niya yung galing na kumanta ng kanyang anak, namana ng anak yung ng kanyang mga magulang, natutuwa din sila, tapos ang gusto nila nga mas angat pa yung anak nila, mas magaling pa dapat yung anak nila. Pag nakita nila yon, it gives joy to God, to your object partner. How much more kay God na lahat nakikita niya, pag nakita niyang masaya yung creation niya, hindi ba magiging masaya si God? Siyempre, magiging masaya si God. Katulad yung simpleng sabi ni Celine nung first day din, kapag nakakain daw siya ng gusto niyang food, natutuwa siya. So, nung natuwa siya, hindi rin natuwa si God. Kasi nga, yung kinain, di ba, merong elements. Let's say, kumain siya sa Jollibee, kumain siya ng burger, di ba? Ano bang meron sa burger? May meat, so galing sa animal. Tapos meron siyang ketchup. So galing yung ketchup are produced galing sa tomatoes. So yung tomatoes at saka yung mga galing sa mga beef na yan, galing yun, pero hindi sila yung part siya ng tao, and it gives to Celine nung kinain niya. Siyempre, nung nasiyahan siya, sa tingin niyo hindi yan si God, para na rin kasing natikman ni God kung ano yung sarap or yung deliciousness of the burger na kinain niya. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. So nakikita yung internal nature and external form, or nagre-reflect dun sa kanyang object partners. God feels the fullness of joy when He is stimulating partners to feel His original internal nature and original external form through them. So, napipil ni God, na-stimulate siya pag nagiging na-fulfill ng created, ng every entity sa created universe at the natural world, feels fullness of joy when he is stimulated, kung naging masaya sila, nag-harmonize yung internal nature and external form ng bawat entity, na nakaka-feel si God ng fullness of joy. Sabi nga dito, whether intangible or substantial. when the kingdom of heaven is realized, that through the fulfillment of the three great blessings, so yung fulfillment ng three great blessings, and the establishment of the four-position foundation, it becomes the good object partner to that gives joy to God. Paano ba mangyayari yon? Kailangan daw, pag na-fulfill yung three great blessings, by the establishment of the four-position foundation na pinag-aralan natin kanina sa shinare kanina sa section 2, di ba? Paano mangyayari yon? So, unahin natin yung first blessing. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng first blessing? The key to God's first blessing is the perfection of individual character. So, ibig sabihin nun, perfection ng individual and individual's mind and body are discrete projections of God's dual characteristics. So, yung mind and body natin ay projection, ay separate projection ng both internal nature. So, yung mind natin, pino-check yung internal nature ni God at yung body natin ay pino-check God. Di ba? Pag yung mind na nagkaroon ng give and take give and take relationship or harmonious relationship, yung mind and body natin centered on the goodness of God, malagiging anong mangyayari? Object partners in order for the individual to perfect his character, he must form an individual four-position foundation whereby his mind and body become one. Kung ibig sabihin ng becoming one is harmonious relationship between your mind and body, at ang result nun, as centered on God. So ang result nun is perfect individual or individual perfection. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng nagkaroon siya ng individual four-position foundation. So, kung na-fulfill so, di ba na-fulfill yung first blessing natin, yung becoming, tawag dito, fruitful. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng becoming fruitful. Yung personality niya, four-position foundation through good and take and give and take action centered on God. So nagkaroon siya ng good character, kaya siya marireach niya yung individual perfection. So ano naman yung second blessing? Paano magiging good object partner ni God yung second blessing? In fulfilling God's second blessing, individually perfected Adam and Eve. So, ibig sabihin, chronological to. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-fulfill ng second blessing kung hindi mo pa na-reach yung individual perfection ng individual. So, perfected na si Adam and Eve. So, si Adam and Eve should construct a God-centered family four-position foundation by joining in loving oneness as husband and wife and raising his children. Remember, Adam and Eve are discrete projection. Sabi nga dito, Adam and Eve and discrete projection of the nature of God, which is yang and yin. Di ba? Masculinity and femininity. Di ba? Yun yung ano niya. So, yung si Adam na naging perfect at si Eve na naging perfect, naging one sila, harmonious, nakipag-isa sila. Pero remember, candidate natin, diba, dito, and woman are equal. Diba? Pero, dapat alam nyo pa rin talaga kung ano yung position ni Adam ng brother at alam mo din ng position ni sister o ni Eve. Kasi we are all the representative of, ang brothers are representative of Adam and sisters are representative of Eve. Sabi natin equal, totoo yun, we are all created equal, but you should know your proper, dapat alam mo yung alam mo na si Adam yung subject at si Eve yung object. So, ibig sabihin, kaya nga pag nagpapakasal sa secular world, di ba, sinasabi, babae, magpasakop ka sa asawa mo, di ba? Hindi dito pero yun. So, paminsan-minsan, di ba? Pero pag naisip ko, ay hindi pala ako. Kaya nagiging mabait ako uli, di ba? Sa asawa. So, pero in yun, we always, ibig ko lang sabihin, we should know na Adam's position, but sabi nga sa sabi kanina sa three object purposes, pwede naman namang magbaliktad. Pero most of the time, dapat hindi nyo kakalimutan, magiging object ka paminsan-minsan, ay magiging subject ka paminsan-minsan. Paano ba nagiging sa family? Paano ba nagiging subject si Eve or yung wife? Pag siya yung nagluluto ng pagkain, di ba siya yung nag-give ng love kasi siya yung nagbibigay ng pagkain sa lahat ng niya, siya yung subject nun. So, in yun. Pero kapag si husband, siya nagpro-provide nung mga pangangailangan ng tawag dito, pangangailangan ng kanyang family, siya yung subject nun, di ba? Kailan ba nagiging subject din yung ating, sabi nga ni Herwin kanina, kailan ba nag-subject yung ating mga anak? Kung lalo yung sa paggamit ng gadget ngayon, nagiging subject sila, so nagpupaturo sila, so siya yung nasusunod. O kaya naman, nagiging subject din siya pag nakikita nila, yung child nila, nag-recite siya, kahit nga sa yung toddler natin, marunong na siyang, halimbawa, marunong na siyang mag-count 1 to 10, di ba? Tuwang-tuwa yung magulang, pag nag-give ka, pag natuwa pagtang ng anak mo ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hanggang 10 na tama yung pagkakasunod, tuwan-tuwa ka, di ba? So, sa paraan na yon, naging object na yung anak, naging subject na yung anak. Yun yun. So, ang sinasabi ko dito, so ito yung through the example of the loving oneness of husband and wife, makikita yun ng children nila. So, yun. Kaya yun yung gagayahin nila. Kaya ng four-position foundation, joining in loving oneness and raising their children. So, mag-aisa din sila na nag-raise sa kanilang mga anak, thus forming family, four-position foundation. Ganun, pag ganun nang nangyari, nagkakaroon ng family heaven, God's direction will be conveyed to all His children through the true parents of mankind. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi nagkasala si Adam and Eve at sumunod siya dun sa three great purposes at nag-establish naging perfect individual sila, nagkaroon sila ng family na tawag dito, perfect family na may four-position foundation at meron silang dominion, perfect dominion. Anong mangyayari? They will become true parents. Sila mismo yung magiging true parents. Hindi ka na maghihintay pa ng true parents, sila na yung magiging true parents kaagad. Diba? humankind, guiding everyone to live. So wala tayong problema, masaya tayo. Had God's purpose of creation been realized in this way, an ideal world without even a trace of sin would have been established on earth. We call this world the kingdom of heaven on earth. Yun yung tawag dito, kingdom of heaven on earth. So that, thank you.